All right, Tyler Perry fans, I feel like, aside from the endless amount of content in regards to a pregnancy that may or may not be real on Sisters, just to kind of do like a Tyler Perry appreciation video. I just wanted to talk about 5 reasons, five things I love about Tyler Perry, 5 reasons to love Tyler Perry. I don't know how I'll title the video, but it'll be something along those lines. And again, this is just appreciation post. Really want to start the week off on a good, on the right foot here, especially with the likes of yet another Fatima and Karen face off. But, with it being over a week since the release of A Madea Homecoming, and I just finished up another DVD giveaway when I went live on, Friday or Saturday. Also, to the DVD winners, I also contacted them last night, or should I say this morning. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, but I got all the DVDs packed up. I sent all the winners their tracking information for USPS, as well as the mailman picking them up from the front door about 45 minutes ago from the time I'm recording this video. So congratulations again to all the winners. And yeah, these are just 5 things, no particular order, and let's jump into it. First of all, just changing lives through his charity. The fact that there have been so many charitable acts that Tyler Perry has done, whether it be, in the state of Georgia or in other places. The fact that there are times where, we've seen, hey, Tyler Perry Studios is giving away like 5,000 Thanksgiving dinners, or paying off the layaway of an entire, department store, whether it be Walmart. I forgot what store it was, but I remember it was like the holidays or something. He paid everybody's bill off. And the list goes on. I mean, I could sit up here and do like a 30-minute video or 40-minute video about everything he's done with, buying cars or paying off houses, student loans. But the thing about it is, that's just the things that the media has covered. There are times where he says, hey, I think it was the layaway one, or he bought gift cards to everybody, where he's like, I didn't want this to be public knowledge when I, told the people at the store, but it just got out there somehow. There's no telling how much Tyler Perry has done that hasn't been brought to the public eye. I mean, that's kind of common for notable figures. Like, for example, the one that comes to my mind is Prince, in terms of him doing a lot of charitable acts, especially when it comes to donating to different schools and whatnot, in terms of their arts, music, creativity departments. I remember after he passed, it was made known in a bunch of interviews that, when he was living, Prince didn't want, anybody to know about it. But I just felt like with his passing and him being, in the spotlight for everybody to see, we really wanted to humanize him. Everybody knows him for Purple Rain, The Symbol, the booty out pants. But this man was a very, very charitable, nice guy. So I feel like with Tyler Perry, there have been so many people whose lives he has changed that we don't even know about. That kind of leads into the next thing. Number 2, he's changed lives of, so many actors and actresses, and even the people who work on the Tyler Perry studio property, those who work behind the camera, those who, do their best to maintain the property itself, from the buildings, construction. So many people who, Tyler Perry has said himself many times, but from the cast I've spoken with, not to mention reading interviews and, articles and watching interviews and listening and whatnot, a lot of people say, Tyler Perry gave me my first shot, or, my career was at a standstill for such a long time until I got, hired by Tyler Perry. And then from there, doors open. And, don't believe me, go back and listen to, or look at the final cast reunion of the Haves and the Have-Nots. And I think Renee Lawless said one of my favorite things that I've ever heard one of the cast of any of his projects said, whenever I go to another set, another project, I just hope it's even half as amazing and warm and welcoming as the Tyler Perry Studios, the behind the scenes crew were. And that really speaks volumes as to how well Tyler Perry Studios treats its actors, well, just its people in general. So I just feel like the fact that he put a lot of people on the map. And I remember like talking about this with, friends and family way back when, during like the House of Pain days, especially like the Doc Shaw. Sorry about that. And China Anne McClain. I'm like, yeah, they started on House of Pain, then they both graduated to Disney. Doc, I know he was on Sweet Life on Deck, and there was another show, I forgot what it was, but he was on that. He was the main character. And then China, of course, she was in like one episode of Wizards of Waverly Place. Then she was on Ant Farm, and then How to Build a Boyfriend, and of course in the Descendants films. So China and Doc, I was like, you know what? It's almost like Tyler Perry Studios is kind of like a training camp or boot camp to like get people experience, and then they go to Hollywood and whatnot. But the thing about it is, there's just so many people who, if you, like the Sisters After Show, that's why I wish we really had more events like that for all of his shows, really, just to get an inside perspective of the cast of what it was like, not just working with Tyler Perry, but how Tyler Perry changed their lives. It's like, it doesn't seem like people just show up and work. It feels like a lot of people, Tyler invests in them. It isn't about money. It isn't about, just the script and getting stuff done on time, which of course is part of it. But it seems like, how people say, black people, you should go to Africa, go home. And then it's like, there's nothing like it. I feel like the same can be said about Tyler Perry Studios, in that nobody goes to Tyler Perry Studios and comes out of Tyler Perry Studios the same. So that's what I'm trying to get at. Next thing. And this is more of a personal one, obviously changed my life, because if you didn't do the haves and the have-nots, Lord knows what I'd be doing right now. I'd probably still either be in a call center or in a cubicle somewhere. But here I am able to do this work from home thing. And of course, without you all, I wouldn't be able to be here to do it. But, I can't even express my gratitude just because of the fact that, who's to say, sorry, look, it's really windy today. So if you hear anything like hitting the side of the house, it's the wind. But yeah, it's just definitely changed my life in more ways than one, with all the incredible opportunities that I've had so far. And, fingers crossed, this is only the beginning and things can only get up from here. But not just my own life, but think about all the various people that have been impacted by his work. From Medea's lessons, or, some of the warnings that have been in the movies and shows of like, toxic relationships, bad work environments, just things like that. And how God is at the center of it all, in order to make it through, hard times. So I feel like, there's just so much to be said about the way Tyler Perry has impacted people's lives through his charitable, donations and charitable acts. Tyler Perry Studios in general, the people who work there, the people who are like me, who consume the content. And that leads into the next one. Tyler Perry just is funny. Like I said in my other video about 10 questions I would ask Tyler Perry on a lie detector test. If you watch that video itself, it's like, yeah, Tyler Perry himself is funny. Forget the Medea, the Joe and whatnot. I'm talking about Tyler Perry. He's a pretty funny guy. Then the final thing is the fact that he changed the game, in terms of the industry. Of course, the question of quality is definitely something people wouldn't shy away from saying. But I think for me, it isn't just about how much he writes or how many like hundreds of pages of scripts he'll get through in like a day or 2 days. But I feel like for me, Tyler Perry Studios being one of, if not the first major studio to open during the pandemic in 2020, to me was the thing that had me going, dang. He went above and beyond on spending like what, over millions, or I think it was like a couple million or something, but it was a lot of money to ensure there were enough, Rona tests, everything that needed to be I guess you could say put into place to accommodate the cast and crew. Tyler Perry took care of his people. I think in one of the interviews he said, look, I know people got bills, people need to eat, and people need work, so I'm going to make sure I'm going to open up Tyler Perry Studios following every single protocol and regulation I can to ensure safety, but also to make sure people have jobs. And I'm like, that's just a stand-up thing. Like, I remember like back when Sister Season 2 came out, I'm like, you know what? I want to go into this season. I'm still going to be honest with my reviews and critiques and whatnot and feedback, but I cannot fault Tyler Perry for letting people, or excuse me, allowing the opportunity by creating it for people to work at the beginning stages of the pandemic. So, for me personally, those are 5 reasons, I love Tyler Perry. When I say love, I don't really use the L word that much, but in this case, I don't know Tyler Perry as a person, but in terms of his acts of kindness and the things he's done, those are 5 things I feel like, I love him for. So with that being said, write something positive in the comments. Like I said, this video is all about positivity. So with that being said, hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit the bell icon and select all. And if you want to follow me on social media, links are in the description below.